Howdy, howdy everybody, and welcome back to the Champion Forge. My name is kind of it alongside these two fantastic people we'll introduce in a second. But for anyone who's coming to the stream for the first time, a quick overview of what we'll be doing here today, which is designing a League of Legends champion with help from our Twitch chat and also from, hopefully, some random number tables if we can scrounge any up along the way. We're taking suggestions for names, abilities, all aspects of that champion design. But before we get too much further into that, I believe the first of my co-hosts, Castle Exodus, has been on a bit of an adventure today.
Yes, I went to the optometrist. Is that optician or what?
I think
the guy for the eyes.
The guy
Yes,
for the
there
eyes.
we
Yeah,
go.
basically the doctor for your eyes. And I need glasses again. Haven't need them for 8 years after my LASIK when I was 18, but I need them again. But you know, it's all fine because I had a dad joke. I almost forgot. That's the entire reason we were doing this. Okay, so what? Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Why did the phone need glasses?
Why did the phone need glasses? I don't know.
Because he lost his contacts.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
Ow.
It's
Ay,
not
ay,
that
ay.
bad.
Ow.
I'm sorry. This is normally the quality is a lot
Oh,
better.
this hurt. Okay, I think we can end the stream at this point.
You
Like,
guys
goodbye.
are
We've
mean.
reached a new
That's a
low.
lot of damage. Woo.
Oh my, wow.
Critical strike.
Oof. But listen, it's a good joke, but I need you to stop anyway.
I love it. Oh god, it's really showing my age now that like I expected. It's kind of weird, like when you get dad jokes that reference something that happened in the last 10-15 years. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I don't expect dad jokes to be stuff that's really like referring to stuff from like 20 years ago. But I guess, now I'm dad age.
Jeez.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
So,
Roger. I believe that you have had your own additions to your particular fashion arsenal as well.
oh yeah. Look at these dragon earrings. Okay, look at these. And let me put this on again. I have my own little pet. You know, since I can't have live pets in my flat. I now have a little dragon ring as a pet around my fingers, and it is so cute. It's so cute. And I have 2 more dragon rings. I bought them today. And now call me the dragon lady. I'm not the cat lady, I'm the dragon lady.
Hey, there we go, goals. So I believe today, Roger, you were the impetus behind the particular idea we're coming in with. What was that idea?
Well, the weather here in Switzerland is pretty shitty. It's raining, it's cold, and all you want to do is just like drink tea and like snuggle up in something. So I was just like, how about we make someone who deals with herbs, like some old grandpa, grumpy, something, witch kind of thing. But herbs and stuff and potions, they speak a lot of like support. But I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. Let's do a jungler. Like, he already lives in the forest. It's perfect, like, in the jungle, right? And it's perfect. Like, the animals, I was like, I don't know. Like, the wolves are, like, the pack of wolves. He helped raise them or something, something like that.
You had the original inspiration from the...
Spirited Away.
Yeah, from Spirit. I don't know if you can get that particular character up on... the stream feed, I think that gives a little bit of an idea.
I will. Give me a second.
Or any of the
Oh,
two.
that's right.
I don't have control over any of this. I'm just here in the driver's seat.
For the dad jokes.
Yeah, for the dad jokes.
Oh no. Yes. So okay. So what was it about the witch from Spirited Away? What was it about the witch from Spirited Away that kind of felt like it evoked this character so well?
So in the first part, she is kind of like the bad guy, right? Because she is the one bringing the contract, saying like, yeah, you have to do this or you will stay forever here, and your parents stay the pigs. Sorry for the spoilers. And she, what's her name? Shiro?
Chihiro.
Yeah, Chihiro, right. And then she finds somehow, she finds the twin sister of like the evil old grumpy lady. And the twin sister, she is that forest witchy woman who just like helps them with the herbs, you know, puts them back on the track and stuff like that, and helps them, and then in the end, you know, is the key to like the happy end somehow. Oh, that's all I remember. Like, don't take my word for it. Better watch it yourself again. But yeah, that's all I think there was to it. There she is. Open. There. That's what she looks like. Oh yeah, you also have her there, right?
Okay, yes.
But like that's like the evil sister of those two.
Yes, I suppose they look the same, though they are dressed differently.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, let's get that out of the way for now then. So I guess, yes, we're not basing it on the evil sister, we're basing it on the good sister, who, yes, I guess is barely in it.
Mm.
Oh, Zaniba.
Yes,
or
Zaniba,
Granny,
that's her name.
as she's known in the movie.
But I kind of want to make it like a male one.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, a long beard, you know, like white beard, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Right, let me
that could work.
just get rid of that.
More of a Merlin-esque character then.
Kinda, or like the old wizard from Disney. Not Merlin, but like the one from Fantasia.
Oh, I
haven't
think
seen
I
that
know
for
who you
ages.
mean. Yeah, I think. Oh, that's an old movie.
Yeah, the fact that I know that, I mean, it's older than I am, right?
Okay. So, yes, we've got the archetype of the wandering herbalist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what would... so we've got a couple of different sort of visual ideas. But what does a wandering... From where you're sitting, Roger, as our source on this matter, primary source here, what does the wandering herbalist mean to you? Like, what does a herbalist do and maybe not do?
I kind of think he is supposed to be very chill. Like, his personality is very chill. He's not, you know, he's just there for the herbs. He's just there for the vibes, you know? Since,
I need to keep myself restrained from not making certain jokes. I'm not gonna explain more.
you know, there is one or two types of herbs, you know, that can be very relaxing. So I do want him to give up the vibes, you know, like that he's just like, you know, vibe. Like he studied the herbs and he know what herbs are good, you know. Like,
See, Roger's doing a much better job of riding that line than Maximus.
So, someone, you know, he's very chill. He's very old, so of course he also has seen some shit. And he's like a little bit, you know, like the Grey Wizard from like Gandalf the Grey, right? From Lord of the Rings, because you don't actually know how fucking powerful he is. But you know, he's very chill. It's just a little bit like, yeah, let's make someone like Gandalf, just like smaller, you know, just like very small, a little bit, you know, like also like constantly, you know, not with a pipe, but like
inviting almost, like hospital. Hospital, yeah.
Yes, where you know, like, okay, he's not the type to like go on an adventure with, but like he had adventures like in the past when he was younger, and now he's just like the wise one, you know. But he's like, you know, back in my days.
Back in my days, I didn't have any of this flashy nonsense.
Oh,
but now, please sound a bit more high.
Oh, I like it. I like this character already. This feels like
cool.
a concept that has not been really explored. So
I think the closest thing is probably Ivern, but you can. It's far. It's still unique enough that it's not. Oh, it's just an Ivern iteration. It's like no, it's not.
All right. Well, so let's go on to our mid concepts then and talk about in the broad. Oh, actually, Exodus, I don't know if you can dig out any of our roll tables for our viewers in case we want to get any rolling in. Just to demonstrate, I think I've got to check what the commands are because it's been a couple of weeks since we've done this because we've been off doing some planning stuff. But there are some commands set up to allow you to roll dice in the chat. We have got some tables we're going to dig out, which will allow us to give control over certain aspects of the character we're making to you, a wonderful audience.
So the first thing when it comes to rollables is and this is important because when we were doing our vastly in-depth research for this particular champion. We remembered that there was a champion in, or at least a hero unit in Warcraft 3 called the Alchemist. Now, when looking a little bit more into it, there is definitely even though it's all a little bit nonsense, but it's fun. There is a difference between alchemy and herbal potion making, whatever. So let's give Herbalife 1, and let's give Alchemy a 5. Or let's say a 6, because I think the D6 is set up.
My camera just said goodbye.
Yeah, my camera also said goodbye for some reason.
Really? No, I don't see.
No?
I still see you. Wait, let me.
I just need to refresh your cache. It's fine. That should be fixable.
So is it a D6 or D5 that we have set up?
Yeah, so if you type in !D6, sorry, my Google Chrome's going crazy now as well. So if you drop in !D6, then you're able to roll dice. So just to be clear, so what are we asking people to roll for right now?
So right now we're asking them to roll for a D6, with 1 being more towards a more like witch type potion making, while 6 being more towards sort of a alchemical thing who can almost like transmute stuff. Thinking more of, Full Metal Alchemist maybe, if we do roll a straight 6, so something more along those lines to give us sort of a baseline of what direction of abilities, what direction of concepts we're looking for.
All right, I'm just do a demo roll to check it's working.
Yeah.
!D6. So, okay, so that is working. I think it might be that our viewers who are watching it aren't able to chat at the moment, so that's fine. If that turns out to be the case, we'll just go with whatever that was on your table. So a 6 would be very extreme towards one particular end. Which end was 6?
6 was more the alchemist. So 6 was purely more like an alchemist who can... the idea I had was that this person can like transmute stuff. So instead of making like a healing potion, it's more of I can make something out of something else. So I can, the obvious thing is, making gold, making something gold.
Or if someone like Ash, like she throws an arrow at you, and you have like that one spell that like takes it and like takes the energy for yourself, right? It's not like really blocking, but it's like like transfusing it into something that you can use then.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, maybe something of a. Okay, this is a little bit out there, but what if you have like a champion that can like transmute CC somehow, so he can make a CC effect into something beneficial or something along those lines. I don't know if that's too much out there. I think it might be. Right.
But I also thought, I don't know if that's like similar to that, but when he gets taunted or slowed, he can use like the shield. He has probably to use like before that, just like Sivir with her E. That that people do like the cleansing, with like burning sage and shit. Imagine he has like a little bunch of like sage, he does like kind of.
I actually kind of like that.
And that's like his shield that he can't get slow.
So basically what he's doing is he's burning a sort of incense.
Yes!
And he's flaunting it around, and it gives you CC immunity. Like,
I can see that being kind of an interesting idea. So yeah, literally you would have so literally like a small AoE around him that if you walk up to somebody else while they're being CC'd, it stops that CC while you remain next to them.
You cannot become airborne when you're already high. That's the idea behind it. I'll quit now, sorry.
We're all going to prison. Okay. I think that's a really nice idea. So we can put that in already as a let's just stick it in as a cube for the moment. So incense burner.
Yeah.
Alright.
Man, this I should actually text my girlfriend, because this is the perfect hero for her. She's really into all that stuff. Yeah.
Ideal. Yes, I suppose this is the thing where
Specify.
we're gonna try
Herbs?
some-
Or the other.
No. Like incense. Like her room always smells of
Technically,
incense.
I could start burning some incense too.
I don't know if that would help on an internet program, but
I'll send some to you over like via.
Yeah.
Via post.
See, this should have been one where we had a guest on who actually knew more about this kind of stuff personally. But all right, we'll do our best, and apologies for anyone who actually knows about this stuff, and we'll say things which are very horribly wrong. But please be assured, at least, that they are not meant in ill spirit, even if it perhaps comes across as.
Do not
insensitive.
curse us, please.
Do not curse. Do not.
We don't know how to get rid of curses.
All right,
Yeah, go on. Let's go.
let's move on.
Let's
swiftly
save
before we get
this.
into more trouble. So, okay, so I like the idea of changing status effects. I had it in mind, like, we're currently getting a little bit too much into the details already, but actually, no, I'll note this down, and we'll come back to it later, because we haven't talked about the main concept. So
Yeah.
we've got, the incense burning idea. So if we're going to go down the transmuting side of things, are we going to try and sort of marry the two ideas together of this kind of witch or in the woods with this being someone who is like has the power of transmutation and trying to sort of mash these two ideas together, or are we working with a different idea than we started with?
I don't know. I think I kind of like the thing is, it was originally Roger's idea, like Roger's pitch. I think Roger should be the one who makes the call on this one. So do you want more of an?
I'm totally fine with wherever this goes. You know, like it was just like because like it's just like the last time with Princess and Leia. You know, it was just like the stone that got everything into rolling. You know, and then we ended up into something more dominant than Princess Leia technically. You know, so like this time, I'm totally fine. Like, you know, I just brought the idea. It turned on the synapses for once. You know, and so where we end up with, as long as as he has his sage burning in his head.
Well, one of the things that this is directly pulled from the Alchemist from Warcraft 3, by the way, is one of his ability was actually his ult. He can kill a target unit instantly, so you can kill something and transform it into gold. So basically what he does, the concept behind this is he turns something into gold. He turns a minion into gold in Warcraft 3 and then kills it, and then thus gaining a lot of gold.
Okay.
I kind of like that idea. I think it's something that is cool to do. So for example, it might be that might actually be something cool to do on a champion. So you can use it on minions, but you could also use it on champions where, hey, you turn a champion into gold, but you still gotta kill him. Like, you still gotta kill him to get more gold.
Like, that's like maybe like a passive or something, or like just like a little add-on that, like using that, like, it just came as an idea or something, that as well as on minions in the jungle or on the other champions, with again, the herbs, like he does like a little spell something on them, and they get like technically a little bit stronger, but when he kills them, he gains like twice as much gold.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
So like a kind of so
It
enemy
doesn't exist so far. Like
I
that's
don't think if
fresh.
there's anything that buffs you where you can buff your enemies. I
like
imagine
the
that.
idea, though. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're like super buffed already, like super fed, and then of course it doesn't matter if you like give the enemy like a little buff, like here you go, like hit me again, like even give you a stronger weapon, like here hit me again, and then you still kill him, you get like twice as much gold.
You know what? Riot did do something along those lines in the what was the? I want to say it's not Blitzkrieg, but in the Blitz mode they had for. There was something
when
where
you got a lot of kills, you became stronger, but you were also worth more money.
Yeah, you became stronger. You were worth more money, but you also took more damage. So I think that's a cool way of doing it, where you can actually and not that it matters for us, but there is coding for it in the game in like the. I think it's League Blitz or a Blitz. I don't know what exactly.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what it was again. I kind of like that idea where it's very much, hey, you got a lot stronger, you do way more damage, but at the same time, I think it was something of along the lines, you do 50% more damage, but you also take 100% more damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we don't have to. I mean, we don't have to figure the number. We're not the numbers guy. We don't have to worry about that. I think that
not
idea
our
is
problem.
Cool. Yeah. So that idea is.
I think the idea is good. It sounds like it's probably going to be quite a challenging ability to get right, but that's not a bad thing by any means.
The thing is, I'm thinking about, is this balanced? Because I kind of agree with Roger. So imagine you have a super fat Yi on the enemy team.
Yeah.
He is gonna do damage. Like you can buff his damage. Yeah, it's like it's not
Imagine
ideal.
buff Mordekaiser. That is not fun.
But the thing is, the way you take him down is still the same. Is by just CCing him and all 5 of you jumping on him. And if he then just takes more damage, I think that's a good trade-off. If you say we'll make him stronger, but we also make him a lot more vulnerable.
Okay, let's try and definitely keep that in mind for when we come back and go into this in more detail. But one thing I like to do before we kind of get too far down the rabbit hole of figuring out balance and stuff is just trying to figure out what is this character doing by doing that. So it sounds like they're basically setting up an enemy to be assassinated.
Yeah, so
he's poisoning them, right?
Yeah, it's a sort of a longer
poisoning.
setup. Yeah.
Okay, so because if we know what the abilities do, so we were discussing this in our off weeks, is just trying to kind of make sure a champion has a particular theme and a particular thing that they're doing. So in this case,
you know what
it's an indirect target. It's an indirect assassination by weakening somebody else.
You know what is also interesting about this, and this is something I love. This is something I think Riot should. I probably have said this like every other episode, but if you yes, that I've said every episode. If you use this on an enemy like cannon minion, you always have a pushing lane into you, or you should. If you use it on an enemy minion, that minion becomes stronger, thus you kind of control the wave a bit more. I think that's also something that you shouldn't underestimate how powerful that can be.
Okay, we can definitely put that in as a sideline for has a minion use case.
Yeah.
So you can use it for outside of this particular thing. Yeah, I think it's a neat idea. Hey, Ghost Stricker. That's a cool cap. Welcome to the stream. Alright, cool. So yeah, I think that's a really promising ability idea. I had the idea, just before we started, of if we're going to have this sort of Witch of the Woods kind of character in there, that if we wanted to, again, reuse code from other characters, because, we want to make sure our prototypes are easy to do, there's also the mechanic of, and this is something that, weirdly, Ivan doesn't really have, which is planting.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the idea of being able to plant stuff. I actually kind of like the idea of being able to plant the existing plants
and then you can and then you can also harvest it,
Yeah, I was thinking something similar where you said you plant something and then later on you come back and harvest the herbs, harvest the weeds or the plants again.
Then you get a speed buff or something, hey, I got fresh herbs, let's go.
Or use them to make a that can be an ability where if you have enough herbs you can use them to make a potion or something that has a certain effect. Yeah.
So we've got Ivan, we've got Bard, because that's Bard's ability.
Yeah, basically.
Down to a T. What I was thinking was, I don't know guys think about it. What do you think about the idea of being able to to plant blast cones and scry's blooms and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah. How would you do that though? Because with the one champion that comes closest is, not surprisingly, the plant lead. Is Zyra. But Zyra can't really choose where she puts her plants, right?
Yeah, Ilaoi, right?
Yeah. It's more of a, you can kind of direct it, but it's a little bit random.
Because I already think that it's a very promising thing that, Roger, your concept is far enough of our silences that I suspect our problem will mostly here be we have too many ideas to be able to fit them all coherently into one kit. which is a very good problem to have because we can always just cut down
Yes.
to the best stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then next week, give him like a little brother.
Yes, also here's Herbalist too.
Ooh, that's actually a good idea for an episode. We do like a Zaya Rakan episode where they release 2 champions who, by definition, work in 10. That's not for this one, but maybe something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Join the Discord. Follow the Twitter. Follow
Join
the
the
Twitch.
Discord. Join it.
Amazing
Hire us.
cross-promotion. Did I put a Discord command in? I feel like if I haven't, I've done a really bad job. I've done a really bad job.
I think you put it in once. I think it just broke it. Oh, there you
it's
go.
there. It's there. It just took one
Yeah,
shot. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I also had the thing of like vines in the jungle, and maybe having because one of the champions that always sticks with me because they're so annoying is Alawi.
Yes.
And Alawi basically has already this kind of planted vine mechanic in her kit.
Mm-hmm.
So if we wanted to make something which could be very easily prototyped, we could have it be that this champion is able to plant vines which sort of functionally work in a similar way.
What if you have something where you kind of poison a certain brush?
Okay.
And this is I know we're still like adding on top of it, but we'll cut away later. So I think this might be cool because if you, for example, you poison a brush and then the first enemy that walks into it, if you don't have vision, if you have vision into it, you can see the brush is poisoned. If you don't and you walk into it, the vines just get you. I think that's and it fits very much with the witch in the woods, right? Because if you go into the woods and you go into the witch woods, you're bound to get like trapped by a spell or something.
Yeah.
I think both of those ideas could work quite well together. Like it could be the kind of thing that if you put the vine inside a bush, that it makes that bush into like a trapped bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I feel like the planting and harvesting stuff is definitely, there's a lot we could work with there. Are there any other things that this Witch of the Wood should be doing in terms of the kind of abilities they have?
I mean, we've got, the thing is, right, I'm looking at the kit and it's very much a help an assassin support more than help an ADC support, right? Or am I?
Yeah.
I think it's more because with the blast, like even with the blast cone and the scryers, that's useful for everybody. But a blast cone is especially useful on something like an assassin or something like something that wants to get onto you quick and you get them.
Distance,
yeah, exactly. And with like the vines, even the Alawi vines or the poison brush vines, that's something that if you have an assassin next to you who knows an Alawi vine is there or a poison brush is there, they can very quickly capitalize on all of that.
Yeah, that would make sense. It would, with the enemy enhancer idea, the less time that they are left alive, the better for the team that do it. So that does make sense. Okay, so let's put it in as a aspect of their design. So an assassin enhancer. So they are a Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah, basically, they're a Deathfire DFG.
Okay, I think that's a cool idea to explore, and it's also especially a very strange place to come to off of this character type, but I think it might work. Like it's it's indirect power, which I suppose in that sense does make sense for this kind of character.
Yeah.
Okay, any other kind of types of abilities and things? It doesn't feel like this is probably going to be a particularly highly mobile character.
I imagine not, which is weird because you are an assassin enhancer, but I imagine it's more of you provide the setup more than you provide the actually getting onto the champion.
I also kind of like the idea of this being the kind of champion who is wandering around in the mid lane, just very like pottering around the place, and everyone's avoiding them.
I'm here for the vibes.
Yeah. That actually that might be cool because then where you kind of you can play this champion in the mid lane. You want to gank it, sure, but remember, most likely she will be paired with an assassin, and most likely she will buff that assassin. So if you gank her, if you go for the all-in,
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Might not be alone in there. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Your funeral.
We've got a solid base to work from there, so let's bring down the size of that part. So we've talked a little bit about this, but just to get in any other kind of inspiration. So we've got Ivern as being our kind of most jungle-centric champion, who's sort of a general, I guess, thematic inspiration. We've got the Bard deployables. Any other champions you want to specifically be trying to evoke in this design?
I think Ivern Bard. I'm thinking if there is something else that comes close. Maybe Yumi, because the fact that you say you enhance somebody in particular, that sounds a little bit. But then again, that kind of, that fits with a lot of supports. So maybe Yumi's a bit too broad here. I'd say Ivan on Bard.
With the idea of it being that you're so dependent on another character, I think that's. I think we can definitely put that in as the time. So we've got sort of 3 touchdowns so far. So with Ivern, we're spending a decent amount of time in the jungle. From Bard, we've got the deployable idea, and from Yumi, we've got the dependence on others.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Zyra plants, I guess, but for the rest, it's...
No, I mean, nothing's too obvious.
Yeah.
So, yes, so her... Yeah, I suppose Zyra is a good example, because her kind of method of play is always through her seeds, and I felt like Zyra could really afford to be gone back to again and maybe looked at and sort of built from scratch, maybe over again.
Yeah, it's weird because Zyra's a champion. A good friend of mine is actually like literally a 3 million Zyra main, 3 million mastery point Zyra main, and the thing is, she says it's Zyra. People forget how much damage you can deal with your plants. It's insane, and she always bans Jax, and I always wonder why are you banning Jax? Like when you're Zyra, it's like, oh, easy. He can, with his E, he just dodges all the plants. And I thought, wow, actually, yeah, never thought of it that way.
Alright, well, that gives us enough to start with, so we can start making a little bit of a dig in here and see what we can find. So we've got of course, we can always take any of these mid-level concepts and sort of mash them together to kind of, make... For example, the enemy enhancer thing could make it... Well, I guess we kind of already got that, haven't we? In that the enemy enhancer makes them generate more gold when they die. So
yes,
that would make sense to try and fit in the turning to gold mechanic as a... as being part of that ability.
I mean, it's very useful. I think, yes, there is a downside that you make him stronger, but put this on a Soraka, and nobody cares that Soraka does 50% more damage. I mean, it's just a number I pulled out of I just said, but nobody cares if Soraka does 50% more damage, but if she takes 50% more damage, that's something people care a lot more about.
Well, yeah, this is going to be the big design challenge, I think, for this one, is trying to find a sort of buff-debuff combo that either meaningfully makes sense for people, or maybe it doesn't make sense for some cases, like you're saying with Soraka, that there are ways of working around it where it kind of doesn't really have a downside. Which
you could do it with I think how you would combine it is, and this is a suggestion, right? What if you also incorporate something like a blind in the kit, where yes, you make and the blind lasts a little bit less long than the actual transmute effect. So if you combine it correctly, and it's a champion that does a lot of auto attacks, because those are champions who generally have the biggest DPS output, you kind of say, look, this champion, yes, it's stronger, but I can also counter that if I'm, if I play it correctly.
Okay, let's bang this into the mid concepts there.
Yeah.
Alright, well, so we've got sort of 2 broad ideas at play here then. We've got the kind of planting ideas, and we've got the enabling assassination ideas. So
yes,
which one do you want to go into first?
I'm thinking, what is the one that we should scrap? Because that's the one you go into last. Ooh, that's a difficult one. I like both. I like the fact that you enhance an assassin, but like the herbs, the fact that you gotta collect herbs, the fact that you might be able to blend like Blastcone and Scryers is really cool, and that does scream more support. Like more support vibes, and more like the original, what we said, the alchemist, the witch in the woods kind of vibe. So I don't know if you guys have any feedback on that one.
I think we can sort of plow in and see what stuff sort of works well together. Like, the transmuting to gold is a little off-brand from it, but it's not. It doesn't have to be, like, necessarily. I don't know. It's like it's hard for me to kind of to judge, because I think, you know, I've been thinking more about the plant side. I think you've been thinking more about the transmuting side, and I think Roger doesn't want to make it necessarily want to be like throw out one of these.
Well, what would you love? No, let me phrase it differently. What would you hate? What would you hate if you look at the mid concepts? You don't want to see room scratched. What's the thing that you, Pete, and maybe you, Roger? Okay, this is a cool concept. Let's not scratch this.
Definitely for me will be the planting idea. I think the planting and things speaks to me the most.
Roger?
Well, the planting does sound really good with the poison the bush and stuff.
Yeah, I'll come. I'm
like
on the same
assassin
page.
enhancer, maybe we could maybe scratch, right? Because
doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be part of the kit at all.
Because like there like, you know, what if you don't have an assassin in your team? Then that's like completely gone to waste.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
True.
I'm probably talking gibberish. Possibly that's
No,
like...
not at all. Not at all. Makes perfect sense. No, I like that. So we definitely. So then we start with the vines and the herbs mechanic first. So that's definitely part of the kit. Okay.
Right, well,
cool.
We can keep it in mind that if we can find a logical place to fit in the transmutation and assassin enabling stuff in here, that there's no reason not to. But alright, well, the first thing that comes to mind, if we want to make the most straightforward way of doing this, which again, we always love to be able to make something which people can actually make in the game. Because you mentioned, so if we're going to have a champion that can interact with the plants on the field. Oh my gosh, I love the hair already. This is great. This is going to take us to art focus for a second.
Trying to like figure out what color I want to do it, because like it
I
could
love
also
it.
be like, you know, some elvish.
We've got a very hobbity vibe.
Something.
Yeah, it's very hobbity.
Like a kind of a festival hobbit is what I'm getting.
Yeah, you know,
Yes.
like he has taken too many mushrooms.
These mushrooms made my hair pink.
That tasted purple.
It could tie into Lulu. It's like that tasted purple, and he made the stuff that tasted purple.
We have multicolored hair that's in the process of changing from one color to the other, and that's a mechanic in the kit.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I like, because it's this, and
Glowing hair.
Thank you, Feral Pony. Remember, you have a top-down view from League, so the one thing you always notice is the hair, so that's important. Yeah. Okay, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so we're
like
gonna
it,
put that in
Picasso.
there. That tasted purple. That's gonna be our first voice line. So okay, so we've got hair change. We'll figure out exactly what it is. So okay, if you're talking about the whole idea of deployable plants,
Yes.
the most straightforward way of realizing this will just be to allow for this champion to regrow using plants. Like that's
Yeah,
the
that's
way of doing it.
I'm thinking of what plants it's not useful on. It's I think it's actually most useful on the are they called the scrying? The ones?
Bloom, yeah.
Yeah, the scrying blooms. I think those are the ones that are most useful, because then you can literally do one way, you regrow it, and you can do one the other way. I think that's kind of That's very effective. The blast cone. Maybe you can, with the blast cone, you have like if you have one, if you popped one, you can immediately plump one down again. So you can kind of jump over a wall, do something, and then jump back to safety. But that might be a little bit too tricky. Or maybe that's too much out there. Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I think the broad idea of being able to regrow plants by right-clicking on them, like presumably on a kind of a global timer for this champion.
Yeah.
On the expended, I don't know what it would be called, the expended plant, I guess. And it's probably like a channeled ability.
Yeah, something channel, but something with like a very short channel where it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Because I think the idea of... As fun as the idea of having this champion like growing blast cones underneath their feet while they're in the midair and flipping around the place, like it does feel it's pretty far away from our initial concept.
I mean, so? No.
I think it's still in there. It still fits within the margin.
Be an ultimate. That could be a really fun ultimate. Where like they just start throwing blast cones around everywhere. Just, oh my god, that would. Oh.
I mean, it is kind of like with Bard. Like Bard's ult works for both sides, right? So there's but especially with Herald and with the fact that it is also an initiation tool, it's something that you want more in your team, or most of the time you want it more on your team. But is there something where you have, if you can engage with the plants, it doesn't really matter that both sides can use them.
Yeah, I will. If we're okay, sort of leaving that on the back incense burner for timing as potential ultimate. So I love the fact, Roger, you actually came up with ability ideas for this one as well. Specifically, I think that's really cool. So maybe if we go back to the incense burner idea, because I'm not sure quite how we're going to change the character's hair yet. So the idea before for the incense burner, just check I remembered it correctly, was that it would be an AoE around champion name. We need a working name.
Herald.
Ooh. Want me to look up famous witches?
Harold.
Harold.
Or Harold?
Right.
Harold's fine by me as well.
The old boomer name, like Harold.
Harold,
Right,
sure.
we'll go with Harold the Herbalist.
Yes!
If anyone in the chat has a better name, and it can only be better, then please do let us know.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's going to stick being Harold the Herbalist, and I don't want to live in that world anymore. Alright, so back to what we're talking about. So, Exus...
Herbert the High Herbalist.
No. No. Oh, gosh. You need to host
I'm going with
Roger
it.
again for the first time in stream. Oh dear. Do apologise in advance for Roger.
I don't.
Yes, it's a whole apology because Roger is not sorry. Alright, so incense burner idea.
Okay, what was the original idea again, that you have something...
You'd have an AoE around yourself, and if an ally was in that AoE, they would lose the effect of their whatever crowd control they were under for the duration of while they stayed in there.
And they kind of get like a how to phrase this? So they get like a sort of secondary resource bar that ticks up, and when it's full, it ticks down. It goes down rapidly, but when it's full and when it's ticking down, are you immune to CC, or do you cleanse CC? Or I think that it's important to distinguish between the two.
Let's see. So the most powerful version of the idea would be that like Harold just maybe this is the trade-off that Harold is getting for not being very mobile. Yes, that Harold just has a cleanse built into the kit. That, like, again, like this is literally the most powerful version of it. Like he cleanses for the duration of the effect, which would be like a couple of seconds, and anybody who's nearby or who's in his immediate vicinity also is cleansed. Yes.
I imagine this is something that goes on a very long cooldown, because that's an extraordinarily powerful ability.
Well, the limitations I can think of it are range, how mobile Harold is, Because if
Yeah.
Harold isn't right next to someone, it doesn't matter that you can cleanse them because he's not on them. And also, with it being very short range, especially if you want to get Harold right up on them, is it's making you more vulnerable to AoE stuff if you're standing right next to someone. Like if it's really, really short range.
Okay, so we say so no, I kind of like that idea. So it's a very short range ability. So basically touching. You basically have to be right next to them. Yeah. Okay. No. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so short duration. All right, we'll put that in as our kind of temporary version of this, and we can maybe come back to it because this does seem like it's probably very, very powerful. But I like the idea of putting a really powerful ability gated behind the capabilities of the champion itself. And then
Actually,
sort of
maybe that.
moderates
Yeah,
it.
because thinking about it now, you have Mikhail's. Mikhail's, is it still called Mikhail's? Wow, I should know this. I'm a caster, but it just never gets built, which basically cleanses CC. But it's on such a it has a big range, but it's on such a high cooldown that you only buy it in fringe cases. So maybe, actually, as you said, the better way to do it is just have it at a very short range where, you want to cleanse somebody, well, you have to get in the crossfire then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is something we could actually start doing, is we could start putting in little design notes for ourselves for the future as to what we're kind of thinking rather than just writing out what the ability does.
Yeah.
Just because we've got a very specific thing here. So, design, so Harold is slow, so strength of the ability is moderated by Harold needing to be nearby.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea. Maybe it's not a Q ability, but we can always switch from around, I suppose.
We can swap. I think this indeed looks something like more like an E or something, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'll put it down on the E for now. Actually, I think that'll make me feel happier. So, because the Q is generally going to be the primary spell that you interact with the game with, like because certainly for the most part, that hasn't really changed in Riot's design. Like, you're rarely with a champion wanting to level stuff other than the Q primarily. I mean, there are some exceptions, but like
there are
that's the
but
baseline.
I think, and that makes sense, right? That the order that you want to level abilities is mostly QWE, and from like rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's never felt like they wanted to make a champion where there was really any ambiguity as to what you leveled when.
True.
Like, you could be like, oh, I want to say, maybe champions where you build them differently, like if, AP or AD versions of the champions might want to level different abilities, but again, they've rarely built champions with that in mind. They've just separated those two ideas to two different champions, which is probably for the best, honestly. But,
How
okay.
odd that the key is How odd that the key used primarily driven. Am I reading that wrong, or is it phrased weirdly?
So Annihilation is saying the primary key for
Oh!
legends on your hand is going to be pressed by your little finger.
Wait, you have Q on your pinky?
Yeah,
I have
UK keyboards in the top left.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, but I use my ring finger for. So I have
And what do you use for R?
my
just, like-
my index finger. So I switch. So if I use my R, I just take my index finger off the E and put it on the R.
Ugh.
Because
Yeah, actually, I think I do that
That's
as
too
well.
much moving. No, you have
got-
perfect 4 fingers, and
No,
they're,
but
and
my
they're
hand's too big to
perfectly
be able to
they
fit
they
comfortably.
fit perfectly on the
No,
fucking
but
four
no,
keys.
because Annihilation perfectly explained why. Because it's odd that your primary used ability is on a finger that is the least dexterous in your hand. So
Yeah.
I kind of get it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I just used, just tap backwards and forwards with 2 fingers on the keyboard, rather than using my whole hand. Just because
Ooh, as a pro tip, I have R is my ultimate on quick. We'll get back to it. R is my ultimate on quick cast. T is it on regular cast. So for certain ultimates, that's really useful. So your smallest, weakest finger is used most.
I guess for Annihilation's case, it sounds like they are using all of the fingers, which is probably more efficient.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, but either way around it, the important thing is we're at the point being that Q is going to be probably the most used ability.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't really got too close to what that could be as of yet, apart from maybe... Because if the passive is the planting stuff, the Q could also be...
Yeah. Thinking, yeah, could be. We don't really... Do we want to give Harold a poking ability? Does he need it? That's the question.
Well, we've also got to
I mean,
ask
he
the
got a
question-
stick, right?
Good.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Roger. Yes,
That's
he's got
too
a
good not to include.
Yeah,
Poke with stick.
poke with stick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is actually too ominous not to
I mean,
include.
yeah, Nulation loves it as well. So, 100%, if you use poke with stick, you become immobile because, of course, you need your stick to walk. That's
Yes.
the important part.
Poor
of it.
old guy.
Yeah, and insert magical mumbo jumbo. The stick does whatever it does.
Maybe the stick should also light up.
Oh, you know what would be cool?
He's a
The
glow stick.
A
No,
glow
yeah.
stick, yeah.
Yeah, no. Hold on. This kind of fits in perfectly because my suggestion is so the stick is kind of like a living. It's kind of like a living thing.
No,
So-
not another living thing.
No?
Come on.
Oh no,
We
the
had
thing is,
so
it,
many living side characters.
but
All the
it-
characters.
no, it extends so he can make the stick. He becomes immobile, but he can kind of make the stick grow automatically to poke with it.
I mean, like
It goes
kind of
like-
And the
Monkey
stick is
King
called
kind of idea.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, kind of like Pinocchio's nose. Yeah, kind of like a stinger.
No.
So we're into sort of Yumi Q with a root. I'm just
I
trying to
mean,
remember which one. I don't play Roman Yumi.
Or you can turn it soft and use it as a whip, like.
Oh, he could just kind of swing. Yeah, he can kind of turn it.
Get
into
out
a
of my
whip as well.
swamp, Fatch!
So Annihilation, yes, I get what you mean. In terms of it's basically like a Yumi Q, except you don't you only you send it out in a straight line, and it just keeps going. I think that's a neat idea.
Yeah, sure. Get out of my swamp. Get out of my swamp.
Okay, channel to extend stick. Oh, okay. Actually, wow. This is gonna go really off base with what we're designing here, but I just want to kind of get it out.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the idea that Harold would be able to poke with a stick, and it's kind of like a sort of a universal ability where you just kind of it's an area of denial because you don't want to touch the stick, otherwise something bad will happen. But he can also push against walls with that stick to propel himself backwards.
Actually, not a bad idea. I like it. Yeah, so kind of like a reverse Nautilus
I've
anchor.
seen enough. Bye.
So kind of like a reverse Nautilus anchor. That is cool.
Yes, if you can use.
He's
it
like, my
to-
social battery has run out.
My
Goodbye.
social battery is. I need some alone time,
I
dude.
apologize, Roger, but this is all your fault as well at the same time.
Why?
So okay,
Uh.
so I think honestly we're going to take every one of the random things that come through Roger's spine in this one.
Yes.
So it's also a glow stick.
Yeah.
I think when it
Imagine
gets,
all
like-
the skin lines he can have.
Yeah, I
Like-
was just
like
about to
with the-
say,
with the-
imagine all
with
the
the-
Christmas skins you
Yeah,
can
and
make out of this.
exactly Christmas, but like the space groove.
Father Harold! A Christmas skin is Father Harold!
And the candy cane is the
Oh.
stick.
a candy cane. Yes.
Yeah. Candy
Oh.
cane.
All right. So if it comes, we've got to kind of just back up a bit and be like, so is Harold still a jungler? That's the question.
Yes.
Um,
It has to be.
Yeah.
Oh no, this works. So this extendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
Extendo stick.
So maybe when it hits someone,
The selfie stick, yeah.
If it's yeah, oh gosh, no, not a selfie stick. That could be influencer Harold. Could be that.
Yes, influencer. And then all of a sudden he's like super dope, and he's super.
All right, I'm noting down these.
His
skin
herbs
ideas
are like
that
in
we
these little belt pockets,
Yes.
across his chest.
Follow me on Instagram.
So we've got the candy cane.
Check out my Etsy shop.
Check out my Etsy shop, bruh.
Instruments, selfie stick. So,
That
okay.
rosemary is not real rosemary. That's total cap.
That's totally
These are words you're saying. They don't mean anything to me at all. So, I realize how we can make this an ability that works for him as a jungler, but also works for him in these other contexts, which are just us getting really carried away. Which is that when he hits someone with the stick, they become kind of impaled on that stick, which is definitely gonna sound weird. But he pushes them back until they hit a piece of terrain, and in the jungle, that's going to be a lot of the time just a wall because they were standing next to the walls all the time.
But like, imagine on the mid lane, just yeet them back into their camp.
Yeah, you know, I kind of like it. So you kind of, and you can say that they're CC'd against that wall then. So it's, I kind of like the idea. So you stick, so it is, you have the advantage that you have with the Nautilus Anchor, so it's sort of a movement ability as well. But if you hit somebody, it penetrates them, and then the vine or like the stick, if it hits a wall, it kind of impales them on the wall, and it causes a crowd control effect.
Yeah, as long as Harold keeps channeling. So I think it does like maybe some amount of damage over time. So it works very well as, you know, for taking on, like, maybe Harold's got a relatively small HP pool, but he doesn't actually fight the jungle camps. He just pins them, at least partially.
You literally pin them down somewhere for maybe your team to catch. To like, oh, hey guys, I got somebody pinned in my jungle. It's like, oh, okay, let's go kill him. Let's go kill his ass. Yeah.
Okay,
Imagine with like Nautilus, you know, throws his anchor to like pull Harold towards him, but then Harold is like yeeting his stick to like, you know, yeet Nautilus away, and then two things meet. It's gonna be like in Harry Potter when like Voldemort and Harry like meet with their
around in circles
magic wands. It's just like boom, like the whole game just crashes.
So I think probably the stick needs to have, I think maybe it's got unlimited duration until it comes into contact with something, and then it has a limited duration after that. So you can't keep someone pinned there forever. But you
but if they're far away from a wall and you get hit, it will take a while for it to reach a wall.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you can sort of push someone up the river with it forever.
Yeah, I was just about to say, can you literally push somebody from top to bot then?
Yeah, like from mid lane, right? Like from one from one spawn to the other.
From one spot, like from one nexus to the other. Like, here you go.
Let's keep that in for now, just because it's funny and we're making a video. I don't know if it's a good thing to stick.
I imagine there'll be, if this actually comes into play, there'll be like a range limit to a certain way. Will just
why Jinx's ult doesn't have one either, and Ash's ult also not.
I think probably the way we do it is if you hit a champion with it, it will CC them for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds if you keep it up the channel, and maybe it's slightly longer if you hit it in terrain or something, but it's not going to probably be carry them to the other side of the map because it seems a little over silly.
Yeah.
No.
It's a super specific situation. But yeah, so let's see, just make sure. So does damage on contact and pins enemies in contact with tip, I guess? Tip of cane. Of stick. Okay. This is like a really overloaded ability, but I think it's a pretty amazing ability.
Yeah.
If the stick contacts terrain, then Harold can push self back for short duration. And this champion plays massively differently depending on how quickly the stick like extends or doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So because if I think if the duration and or at least the animation time ties into do you play. I think if you tweak that, you can play Harold aggressively or defensively. I think that's how you would tweak that from a. This is just a guess, but probably from a design perspective. Something we haven't given Harold is actually a way to clear his jungle effectively.
Well, so I'm imagining the stick you would poke poke the camp and then just sort of damage it and then presumably auto attack it. But if you want to have something else in there as well,
maybe
the incense burning, maybe the incense burning also does an AOE damage around
like a poison effect.
Enemies.
Yeah.
So that could be used to clear. Yeah, because he needs a way to also be able to clear. Well, he doesn't need to, but it could be a way for him to clear the AoE camps. Is that he's got like it's sort of a sunfire effect as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then you later tweak the numbers when you say it does, 150% damage to neutral minions or whatever, or something along those lines. Yeah, I kind of like it that the instance burner. This could actually be a cool trade-off because this is something that I'm thinking if there are junglers who have that effect where it's, oh, I have a powerful ability that I can either use on a gank or use. Maybe this is something I should write down because this is something we should come back to later. Or you have an ability as a jungler, so you basically choose to, do I use this to do something in a team fight, or do I use this to clear my jungle camps really fast? I think that is.
We definitely have that in here.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a long cooldown, yeah, you've got a specific thing. Do I enhance my jungle clear by using this, or do I hold on to this because I'm afraid of getting ganked? And I want to be able to have this either for my own gank or for. I've got no idea how it actually ganks people.
You could say, for example, that the instance burner has a long cooldown, but it has a big dot effect, like a big AoE effect, but it is very tiny. The area he uses it in is very tiny. So why this tangent? If you're doing dragon, you're using the instance burner. Remember, Herald is very immobile, so you'll clear dragon fast, but you have no way of escaping anymore. So that means, okay, it's definitely if I use this and I get caught, I'm just done.
Yeah, I think that works really well.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we've already got, we need to figure out the hair change mechanic because I love that idea.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, let's check back in on the art stuff and see. I spy some sick colours, which remind me a little bit of Sheepy.
Yeah. Wait, let me just. Ah.
I thought Sheepy everything she knew.
I was Sheepy color before it was cool. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Didn't he have the white hair streak, because all the stress he's been going through, that's why he started with the herbs.
It's been a tough time for Herald the Herbalist. That's who we're talking about here.
Exactly.
Alright, no, that's amazing so far. So we've got our ability of mass deploying plants to mess around with. The stick idea is probably the one that's the least kind of easy to visualize.
Yeah.
Because it's so weird compared to anything else that's ever come before, but we do
suddenly, he's super agile, right? When he does that.
Well,
he
his
is
stick
in a very
is.
limited sense.
Yeah.
He can sort of send himself off in one particular direction.
Yeah, which makes it out of character.
I think it's also important to note that I imagine this goes without saying, but it isn't written down. You cannot go over a wall with this ability.
Yes.
So you push yourself away, but
that would be too Master Yoda.
Yeah, that would be too Master Yoda. If you come into contact with another wall, you just you're there.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that you're popping stuff around the place. I think maybe what it could be is that the stick could be sort of medium cooldown, but it reduces cooldown when it hits an enemy. So that you can use it to clear, but if you use it as a mobility tool, that you then put yourself on a longer cooldown, and sort of it limits its ability to just be a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, because that means then it can either be a gap closer or a form of CC, and it's very much the pick one. Like you can't have your cake and eat it. You need to pick one. Yeah, cool.
Okay, refines partial cooldown on enemy hit to allow. Yeah, I think we should start doing this more. I think this is a really good thing to do.
Also, if you cock up and you want to hit somebody, but you hit a wall instead, you want to hit a champion and you hit a wall but not a champion, then you kind of you've literally yeeted yourself out of a potential gank or a fight.
Yeah, so I think what it will be is, but we definitely don't want the Herald to be like boing, 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 boing.
No.
Like a pinball. But I think the idea of it not being necessarily like a long cooldown, but just a medium cooldown means that as you said, you've got the option to use it as an engage if you want to. but it's like that is viable. It's not necessarily what you'd always want to be doing because you don't want him to be like, this is just Malphite but a little man.
I kind of like that where one very simple, and it's very hard to do, but one very simple ability has a multiple use case, but it's very much the you have to choose which use what you're gonna do with it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and maybe like levels. Maybe the speed the stick goes increases with the level of Harold, rather than maybe the level of ability, so that he gets more options, or at least is able to.
I mean,
more.
that exact mechanic already exists with like GP barrels, so it's definitely that's not a fringe thing in League. Oh, hey, Goran, play.
Hey, Goran, how you doing?
Goran!
I'm actually this is, I'd say 90% Roger's ideas which are coming here, especially the some of the more bizarre stuff, which is working surprisingly well.
Yeah.
It always does, it's me we're talking about.
it's me we're talking about.
Hey, Stage Crazy as well, welcome. If any of you folks have any ideas, we are very open to, even if we don't necessarily implement a given idea, to at least bring it into the discussion and see if it fits, or if we need to put it in the barrel for another day.
If you ever want to have a champion designed, or you, I would say join the Discord and link it there. We do read all of the ideas, and we very much love to get new ones thrown in our face where we can work with.
Yeah.
Old man that poked people with stick. Yeah, that's a good summation. That's a good summation right now, yeah.
I think this is honestly, when you can sum up a champion in just one phrase, then I think you've done a good job of getting the thematic across.
Yeah, you can apply it to a couple of champions where it still works. I
mean, like a bounty hunter with a fidget spinner addiction.
Yeah, basically.
I've not heard that one before. That's great.
So we still have to figure out a W and an R. W can actually be something fairly simple. I don't think W.
We have expended a lot of creativity on the first.
Yeah.
Really.
I think. We also still need to incorporate a hair change somehow. Maybe a hair change can just be on level or something. Although that's.
We probably want something which is. Let's see. So what we've got so far is we've got a damage/mobility ability. We've got a utility passive which has no combat application really.
No, not really.
And we've got a supportive anti-CC ability. So what don't we have with those in mind?
Oh, Goreplay. W. Emotional damage. He says something mean, makes the enemy's next attack weaker, and makes them more open.
No, he's a chill character. He is high most of the time.
High on life. Yes. That's the official stance, so sticking to it.
This kind of fits. This kind of ties back into. It plays on what Goran is saying, and it kind of ties back into the transmutation stuff. Or we said, this is not something that exists in League. What do you have, like, you do something, if Harold gets hit by an auto attack, hit by an ability, the person that damaged Harold will get like a debuff on them. Will get something. Oh, you will take more damage in the next couple of seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're kind of working into the pottering around idea.
Yeah,
it's a punishment ability.
Yeah, and it does it also fits in with the E, because when you're in the fray, you need a way to protect yourself, and this way is maybe I shouldn't attack Harold because he'll kind of give me that debuff.
So okay, go and play. I think we're gonna get something which is broadly in the same space as your ability idea, but
he's just not mentally abusive.
Yes. He's. Take herbs to protect from auto attacks. I mean, to be fair, right now in the kit, Harold doesn't actually take any herbs.
Yeah, that's true.
He has he doesn't swallow them, no, but like he has the sage burning right in his hand.
Yeah,
even that one is very colorful. Like, have you
could call it burning bush. The W. He burns a protective bush, and the next champion that damages him, like within 2 seconds, gets a debuff.
Oof.
Yeah, I like that idea. So this guy's sort of become a sort of a weird sort of tank. Because he's gonna be wanting to get up into well, he wants to be
in a way he's a tank. Yeah.
Okay, so we need a good name for this. So it's a damage deflection, just for the sake of
Damage
what it is. So
yeah.
So on activation, Harold gains. We are putting a second kind of like active ability on, like active self ability onto Harold, though. Bear in mind as well.
Yeah.
So which can make it quite hard to read what's happening if we've got an incense burner, and also you're supposed to read he's got damage reflection active as well. That's my hesitation.
Ooh, hair color change. There you go.
Ooh,
that's where you fit it in. That's where you fit it in. His hair changes depending on whether or not he's using the W.
Okay. Changing. Yeah, so it cycles his hair color each time he uses W. It cycles to a new color.
Yeah.
Which is important to note in the ability because it's very mechanically
And to
important.
bring more of Lord of the Rings into it, he also wears the ring. Like, he's so chill, even the ring can't corrupt
or
him.
his robes change. It goes from Harold the Green to Harold the White or something like that.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
and his ultimate, like, his robes just become white, and he's, like, all fancy and shit, like Whitney Houston moment, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Like, the hair blowing in his eyes, you know, like, just like the Elven Queen, you know? They, like, turn
Yeah,
off, like, this weird...
Galadriel.
And he's like, you shall not pass, you know?
Everything that Roger says, it becomes canon in this.
It
line.
becomes canon. It becomes instantly rectified in the lore. Yep, there we go.
All right, so Whitney Houston is it's what we're trying to hit up for the ultimate, which I think is honestly pretty amazing. All right, so
Oh yes, it's Whitney to Houston now.
it's Whitney Day.
It's Harold, bitch.
Oh.
So just to finish off the W, so gaining an effect that is this just like a does he become immune to the damage, or does he just share that damage with the person who inflicted it?
I think sharing the damage is cool.
Sharing is caring.
So basically, you put a debuff on somebody, and now we have to figure out what that debuff exactly is. So what fits best with this? What would fit best with this kit? What thematically and mechanically makes sense?
Okay, so for a short duration. So let's see if I'm getting this right. So he changes his hair color by eating these herbs, and he gains an effect that means that when enemies attack him in this short duration, they'll get some form of debuff. Okay. I mean, it could just. So we're thinking like a damage amplification debuff or something.
I think you can go. There are a couple of routes you can take. You can take CC, but I don't think you go for CC here because you already given him some CC. You can go for that person takes damage with the debuff. So, for example, that person takes more damage, or its armor is reduced. It could be something where it's thematically, it's the herbs kind of melt away resistances. That could be a thing, or it could be something where it's very much you will deflect damage. You will deflect it back.
You shall deflect damage, sorry.
You shall not damage me!
You shall not die!
So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways that this could be taken then. It's like, either it's more on the offense. So Incense Burner in particular feels like he's going to want to be next to allies.
Yeah.
So right now, his entire kit does not seem to be based on doing damage nearly at all. In fact,
No.
we've accidentally made a champion who almost doesn't do damage without intending to.
He's just too chill.
I mean, the Q and the E do damage, right?
But the Q seems like it's primarily a utility CC
Yeah,
tool that
repositioning
needs a damage
tool,
ability.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could just keep on that thing. I don't know if we want to. But in terms of with what he's doing so far, which is that he's standing near allies, it probably needs to be something that makes sense for that kind of area.
Yeah. You could also just give them like an auto attack debuff, or this could be the blind. And if you attack them, they get blinded. They get like a smoke screen, a grave smoke screen effect.
Okay.
He smokes special herbs. He gets a super hulky buff arm, like in Rick and Morty, and makes a super smash into the ground.
Bruh.
That might be ultimate material. I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
Okay, well, yeah, go on, we'll have to come back to that one, because I don't think this is necessarily going to work with this particular ability, but the R, all bets are off for the R. I think we can go completely wild with the R.
Yeah.
So, the giving them a blind, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. It could literally, like, thematically, or how it will look in a game animation-wise, it could literally, he gets hit, and he throws something, like, he throws something in their faces, like a self-made herbal smoke bomb or whatever, or
Yes,
or
and it smells like lavender.
Yes. Lavender protection. That's the name of the W. Lavender.
Smell some lavender. It calms you down.
Yes. Calm you. Here's some lavender. Chill.
Okay,
Yes.
so...
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to just reframe the ability a little bit. To throw a lavender bottle at them.
You might not win the team fight, but at least you smell nice.
You always know when he was there because it smells like rosemary.
Yes.
Short duration blind.
Imagine like Warwick smelling his scent. He's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's the stench. Because like also like, you know, cats hate the smell of lavender, right? So like Nidalee and Yumi can be like, I don't like this. like, do we really have to fight him? Like, he smells awful.
I think maybe, so just to finish off that one, I think maybe while the lavender protection is active, that
Lavender protection. It sounds so gay. I'm so sorry. Lavender protection. Like, oh. I love it. It's beautiful. Like a little Disney princess. Lavender protection.
Oh boy.
You're enjoying this a lot more than I'm just more. I'm enjoying more. I'm enjoying how Roger is enjoying this more than the actual ability at this point.
I think we should probably throw in some kind of small shield or damage reduction or something in this.
Yeah, maybe you can even say like gives him like a small shield as well.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, I think we're a little bit half-assing the lavender protection stuff, but at least it made for a good joke.
At least it smells nice.
Alright, so now we get to the R. So we've got two different angles to take here, and possibly a third one, if we go for Goran's idea, which is, take the ring and become Sauron. I mean, that kind of works with the Whitney Houston moment, because we can sort of reference that idea without it being explicit. Ghost Trickers wants extra glowing shrooms that make Super Mario style rainbow color glitching on the hair.
Call Riot.
But yeah, I don't know, what are you guys feeling for the ultimate? We've got a few different ideas. We've got the mass deployable plants was from a long time ago. I don't know if that still fits. Or the Whitney Houston moment, I think, seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then like you know, it has like the ultra sage stuff, you know, like a cloud of like, you know, the herb smoke or something, and like blinds the enemies a bit.
Yeah, could be something along those lines. Thinking of something. So he would basically consume a lot of his herbs, and then at a certain point,
overdose.
Does it buff? Does it buff Harold? Does it buff his allies, or does it debuff enemies? I think
I definitely will. I like the chat that seems to be with us on this as well. I feel like the hair color idea is something that's fun to play with. We can't really do that for other champions realistically.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
So should we just say consume the mega mushroom? I don't know.
Yeah, it consumes like a... Oh, you know what would be cool? If he... And this is just throwing it out there, right? He goes through stages. So he gets a buff, and let's say for argument's sake, it times out in... his ult lasts 15 seconds. You have the first 5 seconds, then the second iteration of 5 seconds, and then the last 5 seconds, and each the 3 of those do something different. Where it's like different effects. So for example, with the first one, you can kind of break the mold, and you can say the first 5 seconds he'll get a speed buff, for example, or he'll become faster, or he'll become larger, something, or he can initiate or maybe de-engage with.
So we're in the sort of same space as a singed ultimate kind of idea, but just a more complex version of that.
Yeah, I'd say a more complex version where it kind of... I don't know if Roger... Because this is very much Roger's champion. So do you think this fits, or do you want something else entirely? Where it doesn't need to have like the changing effect during the ultimate. I just want to have buff Herald or something.
No, I mean, like, the changing can also, like, imply that he has, like, at least a small buff or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because also when Mario, becomes, like, the rainbow version, he also has, like, the buff. It's
true.
implied.
Okay, well, it seems like everyone's on the same page as with having the hair moment.
Yeah.
I think we can work with your idea that maybe Harold's got like a series of these. So so let's see, consumes a series of mega mushrooms. So,
yeah.
He's completely overdosing.
Yeah, basically.
So I think... Oh, okay, here's an idea. So I think it works with what Goran's playing saying as well, with the Super Saiyan hair, is maybe you have 3 mushrooms you can eat, and they each have a duration of 5 seconds doing something. But
Yeah.
each effect is larger than the last one. But when you eat the mushroom, like you do the first one, say the first one's just like, it's gotta go fast.
Yeah.
So that's a move speed. And the second one is something else, but you can choose to eat your mushrooms ahead of time. It will kill the duration of the first effect.
Oh,
but then
you know how you do this UI wise? I knew this. I knew this was gonna come in handy at some point.
Okay.
The same thing we did with the Berserker. So you press R. Okay, this is also a little bit Heimerdinger as well. But you press R, and then Q, W, and E are your next abilities for consuming the mushrooms. So R, and then which mushroom do you consume? Q, W, E. Then you have to press R again, and then which mushroom do you consume? Obviously the one you picked already is not available anymore. So kind of like basically a Heimerdinger ult, but reusable for 3 things.
Yeah, that's actually that's more complicated than I had in mind initially. But I think the idea of it is cool enough that it's worth doing it that way. So okay, so let's see. That this is going to take some explaining. Different effects. Press R to change basic abilities to choice of mushroom. Once a mushroom has been chosen, cannot be chosen again. This alt. Ultra Sage will be activatable 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should put that at the beginning actually. Activatable up to 3 times. Yes, with timing what it is, we'll probably have to be a little vague on how some of this stuff works, just so we can finish. But let's get the general idea in.
So gotta go fast, extra movement speed. What else do you want Harold to do?
Let's see. Oh, so what would be... I mean, if you want to be really on the nose, it could be golden hair for the Got to Go Fast.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Yeah, golden hair.
What else can we reference? We need rainbow hair for one of these. So... I don't know
rainbow
what that would
hair.
be.
And then what's like another golden hair, rainbow hair, and something else we can do.
Well, we haven't done the white hair.
Completely
actually,
black hair.
Black.
Well, did you want
Yeah.
the Whitney Houston white hair in here? That's one for them.
Oh yeah, Whitney Houston can get like white robe, white hair.
Alright, well, if we make the W for white hair, then that works because it's got the same layer at the start.
Yeah.
Okay, so what should the...
The white hair effect be?
Something cleansing.
Well, I was
Do we
thinking
want to
like-
give him another cleanse? I think.
I don't know.
Okay, so what is Harold? What do we want Harold to do in the team fight? I think that's important. So movement speed is always useful. So that's basically like that's the jack of all trades thing. You can all movement speed is always useful.
Yeah, because that will let him use his poke with a stick more effectively, and also the incense burner more effectively as well.
Exactly. So, the rainbow hair could be something where he buffs himself because he draws with the rainbow hair. You also draw attention to yourself. So I think that kind of makes sense.
What if we
Okay.
put the W on like purple hair because lavender? Or do they not have anything to do with each other?
I mean, they can do.
You can
Something
do,
to say
yeah,
it
sure,
can't
why
be.
not?
Okay. So maybe... I mean, well, if we wanted to, we can just bring in the basic ability effects as enhanced first and for the ultimates. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, but it's functional, I'd imagine.
The reason I'm not a fan is it's not a bad idea. It's definitely not a bad idea. It's just kind of lazy at a certain point because it's Heimerdinger.
Yes.
Which,
I
yeah.
suppose if you made an enhanced version of the Lavender protection for the W, that would be confusing to read, I think, as an opponent, because you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you'd have to-
true.
Presumably, you could have two Ws active at once, which wouldn't be very easy to tell.
It could be something along the same, not the same exact ability, but the thematic is there. So W could be a protection thing, where all of a sudden, like Harold gets more resistances or gets more, he gets a damage reduction or something along those lines. Because
Or
when you go
speed buff because he's super
buff.
slow.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, he's got the speed buff on the Q already.
True.
But
So- gotta survive. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything actually that too bad with it just being straightforward. I think we might not actually have space to fit in these 4 millions of plants here if we're going to have each of these abilities be kind of straightforward as opposed to really wild.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe we should mass deploy the plants is something we should kind of chuck in the bin.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so for rainbow hair, we've got move speed, tankiness. He doesn't really have a damaging ability, so giving him more damage doesn't really seem to make a ton of sense.
I mean, his E does damage, but it's. I'm thinking of, is there something more clever we can do?
Oh, it could be. I was thinking that with the E, you've got to make a choice between CC immunity and damage. What if the E allows you to do both? You could just have Incense Burner active and making you immune to crowd control and doing damage for the 5 seconds that this is active.
It could make you immune to crowd control, which is good because it means that you can get to the champions you want to. Like you can either go for, hey, I need to protect somebody, so it gives him a ghost. I think giving him a ghosting effect and CC immunity is really powerful, because then either you go for an aggressive approach where you go with the Q with the stick and you want to go into the enemies, or you want to go straight to your carry that is being harassed. That is like a Leona just got on top of your carry and you immediately want to go, oh no, I need to be there.
But wouldn't that be the same? Sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but wouldn't that just be the same as the E if you gave him CC immunity on the R?
Yeah.
'Cause he's already
Yeah,
got that.
kind of.
Unless we can find a way to make that ability easier. Like, it could be. I mean, it could just be a status effect that allows him to activate E, like, without cooldown for the duration.
Yeah, yeah. Or he can throw it, maybe even something along those lines, where it now becomes
Oh.
throwable.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like have a throwable version of that effect?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah. Where the E becomes the E is actually a throwable version of that. Like he kind of throws a potion or something, or he throws the incense burner, and then it becomes. This is very much back on the Heimerdinger perspective, where it enhances a certain basic ability, but it becomes a throwable with a larger area, not that much larger, but a little bit bigger on the E. It's not a bad idea.
It's a good ability idea.
Yeah.
The main problem I have with it is it's completely different to the Q and the W in terms
Yeah.
of what it's doing. And
I
that
don't
feels
like that
probably not
either.
right.
Yeah. It doesn't fit.
I think we need some sort of self buff of some kind. Otherwise, like from an opponent's point of view here, you're gonna have to learn. Okay, so when he changes his hair color, he's giving himself some sort of buff. I think we should be consistent in being that's what it's communicating,
Yes.
as opposed to, yeah, in this case, like it's communicating he's gonna use another ability, which is one you haven't seen before, which would probably be just I don't know. So move speed, damage reduction, yeah, because we don't have
Ooh.
a damage output for him.
Maybe a
really.
taunt.
Oh.
Because with the rainbow hair, as I said before, you draw attention. You're drawing attention toward yourself. So it's also, and it does kind of fit in with the E, where it's kind of a taunt thingy, where it's gotta hug. Yeah. So how would that work? So people who attack him, or he just has an AOE taunt for the next 5 seconds, or
Yeah, I think maybe he just like maybe it's like an activatable
yeah.
thing that he just kind of like it's just like a sort of a very short Galio thing that draws people in, and that I guess he could incense burn people.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the same, the thing is, if you have a taunt, at the same time you do have the incense burner, so you can actually opt into. Once again, I have this incense burner. Somebody is attacking, is taunted, so by definition, unless they're a ranged character, they are next to me, so I can actually do massive amounts of damage with them on them with the E. But do I though? Do I save that to cleanse CC?
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's ditch this stuff at the end. I think we're pretty much through there. Like we do some voice lines and stuff, but Roger, I noticed you've been working very hard on the art down here, so let's get this highlighted in as big of a view as we can. There we go. Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
I need the rainbow here. One second.
Ah, this is Party Herald.
Party
This is
Herald. Yeah.
rainbow hair now. It's coming through.
Nice.
More vibrant
Okay,
red.
well, Exodus, do you want to take us through the champion abilities while we just do the final touches on the art here? Just to
Yes.
sum up for today.
Let me just get it all set up. Oh, no, that's not the one.
Oh, yes, it's very easy to break things on here.
Yeah, that's not the one, Zev. There you go. So basically, for people who are just, or either, looking at the recap, or just playing the stream, this is Herald the Herbalist, a tanky utility jungler. So the passive is he has the ability to regrow plants by right-clicking on the expanded plant. What do we mean with plants? It is blast cones, it is the scryer orbs, it is basically all the plants he can interact with on the rift already. So he can regrow them. So for example, you can use a double pop with the blast cone, and you can double clear vision, checking both behind and in front of you. Actually, we didn't talk about honey fruit, but the honey fruit's also nice because you can kind of go, oh, top laner, you're low. Well, here are 2 plants. All of a sudden, you're just full HP again. Q, poke with stick. one of the more interesting abilities. On a medium cooldown, Herald basically becomes immobile, but he's channeling his stick. His stick is sort of a projectile. If it hits a wall, he pushes himself away from the wall. So it's the reverse of a Nautilus anchor on that sense. But if he comes into contact with a enemy champion, he penetrates that champion, and if then it hits a wall, he pins that champion down for a duration. Fill in that what you will. It's tweaking. I think that's it.
There's a lot of description required for what is on its face a straightforward ability.
On the surface, it's a straightforward ability. It's just we were covering all the bases, what it can and cannot do. So you cannot jump over walls with it. You cannot traverse terrain with it. There's also a partial reef on cooldown mechanic. Basically more for him clearing in the jungle. And the speed of the stick increased with Herald's level rather than ability. I think that's also a pretty interesting thing. Then we have Lavender Protection, which is still one of the better ability names we've ever come up with. So basically Herald goes full on the myrrh and the incense, going along with Lavender, and he... Well, I mean, because I do really need glasses. I can see that now. Okay, so he basically he gives himself a sort of a shield, and the next champion that will do damage him, so with an ability or an auto attack, he kind of lobs a Lavender draft at him, and he blinds him for a short duration. Then the E Incense Burner, which is an interesting ability as well, a very long cooldown. And it has a dual use, so it burns the incense, but it has a sort of singed effect, a very powerful, very strong damage over time effect that is a slow area of effect, slow range, like slow area, tiny area, but the upside is it can also cleanse CC, but you need to be close, you almost need to be touching. For it to take effect. So Clan CC is not only for yourself, but for allies. And then the R, Ultra Sage, basically a 3 different part ability. Think a little bit of Heimerdinger, but you can use it in succession 3 times. So you basically have 3 mushrooms to consume. Each of these mushrooms has a timed effect, let's say 5 seconds for argument's sake. If you consume another one, it times out your previous consumed one, so that is important. But all of these 3 mushrooms do something different. The first one, gotta go fast, gives you movement speed for short duration. The second one gives you damage reduction, gotta survive. And the E, gotta hug it out, gives you an AoE taunt for short duration, short duration. It also changes your hair, so it's more clear to the enemy and your allies what exactly you're trying to do. And you can consume these in any order you want. So you can go, for example, go for the E first, then go for QW. Whatever your imagination can come up with in forms of combos is basically what you have to work with.
So, Roger, I know you're somewhat busy finalizing the art stuff, but
I'm done.
As something of the client for today, how do you feel like we've ended up with in terms of realizing where we started and where we've ended up, with your herbalist woodsy person?
Like with the art, I totally ended up where I wanted. Like I totally see the old lady from Spirited Away in it, right? Because like short, big nose. Obviously my touch with like all the piercings and jewelry is there, right? And like together with the abilities, I really like it because with the mushrooms and with the lavender and stuff, it's like it is a little bit of crackhead energy that I love. And I mean, look what I made. I made the golden hair for the gotta go fast. I made the purple hair for lavender protection, and I made the rainbow hair.
Amazing.
True. Yeah.
I honestly genuinely think this is a really fun champion.
Yeah, this is a champion I think a lot of people would potentially have fun with. Just is he good or not? He's fun. Just fun to play.
Yeah. It's like with Yumi, like she's just adorable. Like, does she do much? No.
She doesn't do all that. She doesn't do all that much, but she's fun to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think. Oh gosh, we are running over time pretty majorly.
Yeah. We kind of gotta.
I guess we'll call it there without doing the voice lines for today, which would just assured that it would have all been silly and in old person voices. Do you guys have anything you want to shout out before we call it an end to it today? And of course we'll be back next. Oh wait, I'm gonna check this actually.
Still jobless. You know, just putting it out there. Still looking for income. If you have anything lined up.
The OF is getting closer and closer with every day.
Yeah.
Caster Exodus. You can find Caster Exodus on Twitter for all of your any job will do.
Any job at this point, really. Any job. If it's tech, if it's league, if it's consulting, anything really. I have a master's degree in engineering, which apparently, you know,
It's worth something.
It's worth something, but not on the current job market, as it turns out.
Oh no.
Yeah. Roger, do you have any more things
a
to shout out?
suppressive.
Please do.
I got my regular stream tomorrow evening as usual. I'm stressing because, like, you know, FABA, the convention is in May, and I do not feel ready with my cosplays, but it's getting there. So, you know, like, yeah, gotta go fast.
All right, I'll put your Roger Rogers stream. So what time will you be streaming tomorrow?
8 p.m. as usual. Yes.
All right, there you go. The links in the chat several times over, because
Thank
I
you.
messed something up there. From my side of things, so I think, yeah, so next week I think will have to be our last one, at least on this day for a little while, because I'm going to have some events coming up which will be running on concurrent Mondays, and then I'm going to be away for a couple more Mondays, so it might have to take a little bit of a mid-season or new season break at some point soon, but as we've been kind of chilling, please do join our Discord if you haven't already, and drop us any of your ideas for future champions, or indeed what you think of this one. Roger, I really hope that when you post in the past forges for this, you include all the different hair colours, because
Definitely.
they were all amazing, and I think it'll make some good Instagram posts.
We should actually, what we should do is have like a Google Drive and pin it in the Discord. We'll get on that, people. Pin in the Discord, people can just download previous, or they can see the previous champions and what we did. Yeah.
Yes, if anyone watching is of a archivist mindset, as in they like to make records of stuff, we definitely need help in making sure we've got a coherent record of the stuff we've been doing. Because there's a lot of stuff we're doing where we kind of have to be like, have we made this champion before? I think so. We can't quite remember. So definitely, I don't think any of us are organised enough to do it ourselves, so any help we can get will be wonderful. I suppose the last thing then would be, do we have anyone we can send our viewers across to who might be a good fit?
I got no one, sadly.
Not really.
Okay. There's someone I know who is nice.
Yeah,
that's Fruit Punch
I know
BB.
they're nice at least.
I've got
Oh,
two.
it's league finals. Ooh.
I've got a couple of people streaming right now of organizations that I definitely don't want to give a raid. So please do.
Alright, well in that case we'll send across to Fruit Punch BB, who I've not interacted with for a while, but I do remember that they were delightful before, and seemed like a pretty good fit for the vibe we've ended up with by the end of the stream. It's a 5-man poke with a stick. Yes, everyone gets pinned. The audience gets pinned.
Yes,
and we get pinned onto Fruit Punch's BB Twitch stream. Again, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. We may be taking a little bit of a break after that for a little bit longer. Again, please do join on Discord if you're interested in more designing between weeks, and we'll see you next week. Did it work?
Are we
Yes.
rating? Yeah, we're rating.
Alright.
That's
I'm still waiting
Fruit
for it to go
Punch!
through.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she's really nice. I've not talked to her for quite a while, but yes.